it feels so right.
Hello everyone, good evening and welcome to the Loft Line podcast again with me, with Jamie Langrish and with Tom Roskin-Williams, wherever he is. He's just disappeared, hasn't he, off the face? Thanks for tuning in, and if you can, hit that like button and the subscribe button, and the more followers we get, the better the show will be. I've got an apology tonight because we was going to have Chris Ryan on, the lad who runs the Northwest One Loft race, but unfortunately later on this afternoon he got took a bit ill, so we wish him all the best and get well soon, Chris. And he will be on the show very soon, and we've got a few more guests lined up that'll be on over the next couple of weeks and that. So and if anybody wants to come on the show, please, get in touch with us, let us know, and we'll get you on the show and you can talk about your views and anything you want to that's Pigeon related, and we'll look forward to it. So yeah, thanks a lot, and let's start the show. How are you, Jay? You okay?
Yeah, you?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. How did the show go today?
Yeah, we're good. Plenty turned up. Plenty of nice birds.
And where was that at, Jay?
At Bolton.
Right.
And our other club in Bolton. Name's gone.
Right. Hi, Tom. How are you, pal?
Yeah, mate. All right.
Yeah, I was just telling them about Chris and that, just let the people know. And
yeah.
I was just asking Jamie about the show today, what happened and where it was and that. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of them shows now, isn't there, lads, coming up in the close season, or are they finishing?
They're starting, aren't they?
I think I know about 3 around us. I think there's one, a good one in Leeds, ours, and I'm sure there's one further up. I think there's one over maybe Southport way.
All right. You know what we'll have to do? We'll have to get them on the show so we can post them and let people see what's going on, can't we?
Yeah, people send a picture of the winners and that in. We'll be all right, won't we?
Yeah, you know what? We could even do maybe go on video one or something, do a live show from there one day, couldn't we?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, right, lads. So let me tell you what's happened this week. We've had a few messages, and there's a couple of people who have tuned into the show, and they haven't raced any pigeons yet, and they really want to know kind of how it works from start to finish. So, if you lads want to explain that, and take turns each at speaking, and start off with you, Tom, and start off what goes on in a race and how it works, and then cross it over to Jamie, if that's okay. Hey there, Tom. Well, you start then, Jay. You just explain how it works for a new starter. How would you explain it to a new starter?
I'd plan your budget, see what money you've got that you can spare on setting up, then look into what size lofts, kit boxes, garden shed, what's the easiest thing you can do to convert it. Yeah. And go from there, really, because obviously with no shed you can't, impossible to race.
Would you say, Jay? I mean, the biggest part for somebody starting up is the expense of the pigeons, really, innit? You know what I mean? So as a suggestion, go on.
There's a lot of people out there wanting free birds. They crack on. They are new starters. It's like I breed pigeons every year. There's always someone who's stuck for some or whatever. And if I know they're a genuine new starter, I don't mind breeding them a kit of 6 and helping them out. Pigeons. I think anyone would breed them some pigeons if they were new starters. I won't worry about buying pigeons. I think the most important thing is having somewhere for them to fly to, and obviously an ETS that can time them in. Yeah. To be up with the rest of us that's got ETSs.
I mean, to starting off. I mean, even if they could get like just a normal clock, an old clock off something.
Yeah, T3. Yeah, we'll
get a T.
Our club. And I think there is a couple of members in our club that still use them. But these pigeons have gone. They've woke up tonight.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, you could to try and put that expense down in the beginning. I'm sure you could get in touch with one of your local clubs, secretary and members, and say you're a new starter and shed and you want to get going, and maybe some members of the club would breed you some youngins to start with, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they would. Most people would breed new starters youngins. That wouldn't be a problem. You just hope that they're genuine. You know, the last thing you want your pigeons being is wasted. You know, we all spend a lot of money on them, and you don't mind if someone tries the best by them. But there is a few con men out there, you know.
Well, I mean that's what we have to be careful of that in life in general, don't we? You know what I mean? But as a suggestion for a new starter, I think it would be good to get in touch with your local clubs in your area and speak to the secretary and have a word with the secretary about really helping you out, innit? That's the way forward, innit?
Yeah, of course it is. Well, there's hopefully there's a new starter starting in ours next year. So last time I heard, we're going to vote him in on the next AGM, and Tom's helped him a lot by trying to get them lost and sorted. And then once they've got that, everything else will fall into place, won't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's clubs should be doing that, shouldn't they?
Yeah.
You know, welcoming new starters in and helping them out, and that gives us that start, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So then there's a couple of people who are asking what actually happens on a race day, because they don't really know, Jamie. Do you know what I mean?
No.
So obviously you've got your birds, and you've got them settled to your loft, and then you start training them, and you get them ready for that first race. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's what they want to know about, how to work it out. So what one kid asked me, how would he get his velocity, his loft location done? Well, how would he do that?
Well, the club secretary would sort it for him, or they'll know someone who can do it. Tom does mapping, you know, so they know obviously they can work the distance out from their loft to the race points.
Yeah.
So most secretaries have a contact who can map them. You know what I mean?
Because when you've got pigeons and you're starting to race competitively, you need to. That's the first thing you need to get in it, that loft location.
Yeah. But obviously they'll have to put the loft up first, so then they can map it correctly to where the loft is in the garden.
Yeah. Well,
the reason I'm in loft tonight, Bobby, is that I've paired a few up, and there's I'm keeping an eye on them, and there's they're driving at the minute, and they're driving the bloody ends everywhere.
Right, is that the problem?
Well, they were two cock killing each other next to me.
Mate, it's always the way, innit? There's always a couple of lunatics in there. But yeah, so obviously, you know, they've got the loft location, and they're starting in the club. So do you think that maybe if they're genuine new starters, that maybe the club should make it a little bit cheaper for them?
Yeah, they did for my boys. They joined our club. They didn't pay nowhere near the normal what the normal cost is. In fact, I think the club secretary Kenny actually paid the boys first year subs for them. So that was good of him. Yeah,
I mean that would help get new starters in, wouldn't it? You know,
yeah, of course it would. Yeah,
you know, if we kind of subsidize because
go on,
because it stands to reason that new starters, they don't just come in and win straight away, do they? Do you know what I mean?
No, they might do.
You'll probably get the odd one, but you know, on a normal, it takes you a couple of years to get used to how it all works, and then you start getting up there amongst the other members, don't you? If you're serious about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I mean, if you could help them out, if we could help your new starters out in a big way in the beginning, I mean, and make them welcome, I think that'd be a big start for them, wouldn't it?
Yeah, of course it would. Of course it would. It's all about raising money. If there's someone there, it'd happen. People would help and raise money for them. It's last year I raised a good few £100 for prize money at clubs. And people have just got to work hard, and and prize money don't come from fresh air. So
yeah.
you all got to try and do your bit to raise it.
I mean that's probably the biggest sticking point for people starting off in at the expense.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Even now, and I work full time, I wouldn't like to start from scratch because it can be costly.
No, I mean that's another way, isn't it? Starting off with like a kit box like your lads did.
Yeah, but even a garden shed, you can pick garden sheds up for good money now, and you can soon convert them, and 2 years down the line, save up and buy yourself a proper loft. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know people who fly really well into garden sheds that's been converted. It's all about the effort of the ventilation and what you do.
I think Tom's back now, aren't you, Tom? Are you there?
Hopefully I'm back now. Hopefully.
I think somebody's headphones are a bit too loud, aren't they? We can hear them. Are they all right? Yeah, are you back now, Tom? Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, what we was talking about, Tom, we was talking about new starters, like carrying on from last week and saying how clubs could subsidise, and make it cheaper for them to start. And if they got in touch with local secretaries of your local club, all the lads would breed you some pigeons to start, I'm sure.
Right, okay.
And then what I was getting at before is there's a couple of people asked us what goes on an actual race day. How does it work and what do we do? So do you want to have a go at explaining it, lads?
The race day?
Yeah, the race day itself. So basketing your pigeons, taking your pigeons, marking your pigeons.
Yeah, so basically, once the season starts, you mainly race every weekend. It's a weekend hobby, really. There is the odd race in the week, but it's mainly you started for the working class. So obviously, everything's aimed at weekend. You tend to take your pigeons to the local clubs on the Friday night to be basketed and registered in the race and put in the race. And then after, they obviously all go on a big wagon, often thousands of them, and they get taken to race points, which generally increase in distance as the week goes on. So you start roughly around 60 mileish normally, and then obviously the birds will fly right through to 500. So the first race will be 60 miles. They all go to the club on a Friday night, and then obviously you all go home. The birds have gone. You're all sat at home. You're all keen. You know what I mean? It's like you're a kid at Christmas again. That's what it is.
Even now it is, isn't it? It's the same now.
I'll beat that bugger. You know what I mean? Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, you're all full of it on the Friday night. Once the Saturday morning comes and you're waiting for the phone call to say the birds have been released, that's when it gets nervous and nerve-wracking, And obviously then the birds race back. The birds come off their own lofts. The birds, back in the day, you used to be able to do a rubber ring off them and put it in the clock to time its timing that it was back.
That was the old way, wasn't it? Yeah.
Obviously now it's a computer job. Runs on the ETS, which is electric timing. If he has through the door, the trap, or it enters the loft, it's got its own barcode. When it pops in, it goes onto the computer. It's all computerized.
Yeah.
Basically, you go to the club and then that's on the Saturday. The Saturday night, you all go back to your clubs, and the clock and the times will get printed off. And then it's nerve-wracking to see who's won, or because up until you go to the club at night, everybody's winning. Nobody knows unless you get someone nosing in.
Yeah, nobody knows today.
Nobody knows. Everyone's winning until you go at night. So you come out of the club with a beam on your face or a big long face.
Yeah, the pigeon racing's got an habit of kicking you up the arse a couple of times, hasn't it?
Never brag, or never say what you're going to do.
So would you say if you're starting off in pigeons and you're starting off in young bird racing, would you say try and race every young bird race, or would you just pick and choose if you was a new starter? What do you think, Jay?
I think if it was my first year racing, depending on how many youngers I had and what I had room to go forward into the yearling loft, I would. If I only had 12, say, cock boxes for next year and I had 18 cocks, I'd stop 12 and see the other ones right through.
Yeah.
And race them to the end. depending if the body will let them, in the flights and the feathers.
Yeah. What would you say is a good amount to race a young bird season?
Well, go on, Tom.
I would say between 20 for a new starter. I would say.
Tom, there's something wrong with your mic. Is it? Like it's a bit going off a little bit, isn't it, Jay?
Yeah, it's a bit on and off.
It's a bit echoey, like. Hey. So go on, Jay. What would you, while he sorts out, what would you say?
If it was me, like now, because I like flying, I like to try and mix it up in the Fed, and be up there with them. But I like to fly in the nationals. So with young birds, I've always for the last few years I've only given 4 or 5 races and finished them, just giving that bit of experience, and then bring them out to yearlings, and then normally your older birds will bail them out. And then by the time you've got 4 or 5 races under the yearlings, they start coming too. But I've never liked sending younglings right through a full program. I've not done it for years. That's just the way that's the way I do it. I think I put that much into old birds, flying all club and fed races and trying to do all nationals. I don't like having them as babies. I think they've got a lot to do the year after.
So that what would you say, Tom? Would it be the same for you? Like, just if you've only got a small young bird team, just take your time with it.
Yeah, I would say he's right. Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. Yeah.
Well, your mic's better now, Tom. That's better.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's quite easy to say. I'm the sort of person that'll send them. But that not the amount of pigeons. But I probably agree with Jamie on there. If we're starting off, I'll be taking it from the easy the first year just to make sure. If you don't have a good young bird season, you have to start all again the year after. You've got to get the old bird team. You've got to go forward. Yeah.
So the lads who messaged us, if who asked about starting off racing and all, I hope that what the lads have just said kind of makes sense to you. If not, you can always ask us a question and we'll always answer your question. You know what I mean? So what do you think's going on in pigeon racing now at this point in the year, lads? What's happening? Would you say?
I think they call it the silly season, which is meetings going on, that sort of stuff, and change and trying to things in some things it makes it worse, but it's more meetings and discussing what went wrong last year, what we can go forward this year to make it better, that type of thing. It's just meetings really.
And what you up to, Jamie? What are you doing at this point in the year?
Same as what Tom just said, but I've decided this year to pair early. Because my girlfriend Rebecca's racing the young guns, so she wants to have a go at Bamfords that I've not raced in for bloody years. So I thought we'd pair up early, do a natural dark, and then put the lights on and hope they hold the flights and body for that big race.
So now you've paired up. Now, when will you get your first young guns?
Well, they've just started to lay now after 6 and 7 days. I think I've got about 15 pair out of the 30 laid so far. There's a few cocks driving their heads wild at the minute, so that's why I'm in here keeping an eye on them. Because I've already lost a set of eggs with the hen going into the wrong box and the cock fighting with the cock, over the eggs. Yeah. So these first young guns, they'll be in what? 19, 20 days, won't they, after the second egg? Yeah. So, and then rings will arrive and get them rung, so they'll be a bit early. They'll be a couple of weeks before what they should, but everyone else does it, so I'm going to have a go. Have you
paired up now as well, Tom?
Just in the middle here, as we speak, like literally, I paired my sprint pigeons, my middle distance, and my long distance pigeons up at different times. Only a few days between, just to make it easier for keeping records and laying and ringing and that sort of stuff. But this is probably the earliest we've ever paired up, I would say. same sort of idea as Jamie. Really, get them on the natural darkness. They'll start molting because it's dark at nights, and then when the day's starting, we can increase the days by the light. It's basically fooling nature, really, and that's what we're doing to get a good team of young birds in good feather and get them educated well in time for the racing. Because last year we just did it a bit late last year, and it just held us back a bit. We're just a bit late. You weren't just ready for training at the right times. You've got to get everything timed. If you want to do well, everything's got to have a strict time schedule, and you've got to stick to it. So that's what we're on at the minute. So
I'd just like to say hello to Peter Fern. He's just come on and said hello, everybody. So hello, Peter. How you doing, mate? So anybody else out there who's watching, hit that like button, press that subscribe button, and if you can, come and get involved in the show. You know what I mean? Let's make it a big show this every Sunday night.
Yeah, get your questions in. Put your questions in live. If you've got any questions, even to ask us or what we think of a general subject, just get them fired in. We'll do our best.
So Bobby, what do you think? Yeah.
If you can get a genuine new starter through this channel, I'll breed them half a dozen young ones this year to start them up.
Well, there's an offer in it for the new starters, because we know for a fact there's one new starter that's been. We've had a couple of messages off a couple of new starters, but there is one kid there who's genuine, and he's already got his loft up. You know what I mean? So if you're watching, mate, wherever you are, get in touch with us, and there's an offer off Jamie Langrish, who has some good pigeons and he's a real good flyer. Do you know what I mean? So you've got an offer of some decent pigeons there. So what do you think? What do you think of the way things are going in general now, lads, with this one loft racing? Do you think it's a good idea? Because there's some people asked about, could they buy pigeons and put them in a one loft race? I don't know if it's possible, that is it.
Yeah, it is. You can. There's plenty of people buy them just to enter them into one loft races. There's some went from here last year that were bought and went into one loft races. I like it one loft races. The Northwest one that Chris does, it's only up the road, and it's a good bit of fun to go and watch the birds come back. I enjoy them.
What do you think, Tom?
He won one last year. He's not telling you that he won a lot of money as well. That's why Jamie likes.
Who Jamie did it?
He did, yeah. He's not mentioned that, has he? No.
No. Well, he won't, will he? You know what I mean?
No, he's gonna buy the drinks later. That's why.
But yeah, what do you think they're all right? Them one off races, Tom?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I've been in quite a few, but I've been in most of them. I do enjoy it. I enjoy because it's not the case of you sat at your own off watching them. I do like looking at the screen. Like, they're going to be due. You're not looking outside your own lot, because obviously you're looking over a computer or a phone, and it's quite exciting to see. You'll be watching on the live stream, and 10 or 15 will turn up, and you're just looking at your phone thinking, please be one of mine. Please pop up. You know what I mean? And he did. He got one back. But,
so it's kind of the same excitement as race day, really, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And not only that, you see people in syndicates, don't you? Lads who don't even race pigeons.
Yeah.
You see them getting in a syndicate, and
well, you can make one loft racing as cheap or as expensive as you want.
Yeah.
The average price to enter a one loft is about £150 a bird, and if there's 10 of you went in the long loft race, it's going to cost you £15 each plus a pigeon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can make it as expensive or as cheap as you like.
So what? If you're too busy to work, if you're working, and obviously you can't have pigeons at home because obviously you're busy, tied up with family, children, and that sort of thing. The good thing about the one loft races, you pay your money, and then all you're doing is watching on your screen. You're not having to feed them, clean them out, worry about subs or anything like that. It's a good way of, a start to get into pigeons. You're just watching them on your phone. You don't do any work, but pay the money and watch.
Yeah. So you could get all your mates involved, couldn't you? Buy a couple of pigeons, send them off, and then you and all your mates could have a laugh with it, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Well, you do a similar thing, don't you, Bobby? With your pigeons, with your partners at work, you have a good thing, don't you?
Yeah. Well, we do what's called a charity race. So what I do when the pigeons are racing, I get all my mates to pick a pigeon up and put some money in, and then it's a race to my loft when I'm racing in the club. So what happens is all the lads, it's called the Saturday charity race. So all the lads pay a tenner for a pigeon, And what happens is, you know, when the pigeons come home, it's all on the WhatsApp live, and then when the pigeons come home, we get the winner gets paid out, the second and the third, and the rest goes to a charity. So like every Saturday, we kind of doing a good thing. We pay, the lads are having a laugh. All my pals are having a laugh. You know, they're all having a, you know, looking to see the pigeons, and it's on WhatsApp. So there's a load of banter going on, as you can imagine. You know what I mean? And plus, we'll give some money to charity every Saturday. So it's kind of it's you know, the lads are enjoying it, and it goes to a bit of a charity, which is good. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So what I do, I sell all my pigeons, and I have like a race in the race. So the race is just to my loft.
Yeah.
And the lads, you know, or even the girls, whoever gets involved, and then it obviously, like, you know, we put some to charity, and it's kind of a smaller one-off race, but every Saturday, you know what I mean?
Well, if nothing stopping us doing this during the racing season, one of us could do this on this channel. People can have them.
Yeah, well, that's what we'll do. We can, you know, we can do that. You know, we can add little bits on and do little bits of stuff as we're going along, can't we? Because, like I said, this channel's going to evolve. Do you know what I mean? And so I mean, we're learning as we're going, aren't we? You know, we're learning about it, and like, you know, we can't help this week. I was looking forward to getting Chris on, but obviously Chris is not too good. You know what I mean? So next week we'll have somebody else on, and you know, we're looking at getting Wade Davis on, and maybe our pal from Ireland, Peter Martin's going to come on and tell us about, you know, what's going on in Ireland and stuff like that. And Peter messaged me this week for the link for the show, so his mate could watch it in Texas. You know what I mean? So you know, already we're going a little bit further afield, aren't we? And that's what we're looking for. You know, and we really do need people to get involved. You know, to like that. You know, press that like button and hit that subscribe button. But we also need people to come on and ask us questions, and, you know, give us topics that they want talking about. You know what I mean? Because, you know, we're here and we're talking and we're chatting and three pals, like, you know what I mean? But we need other people getting involved as well, don't we? You know what I mean?
Yeah, from every background. We're not saying we want to get superstars on it. Even if anybody, it's at every level, everyone can chat.
No. And listen, it don't matter if you've not got racing pigeons, but you've got show pigeons. You know what I mean? Come on and tell us what's going on, because, you know, we want to educate ourselves in other parts of pigeons, don't we? You know what I mean? It's not just, you know, we've not just set it in stone. We wanted people to come on from all walks of the pigeon fraternity and get involved with us, don't we? You know what I mean? But you know, like I said, we'll have other guests on, and as the show starts getting bigger, we'll obviously get more people to come on. Yeah, I mean, it's really simple. If you're feeling a bit shy about coming on and talking, that's fine. Send us a message. You know, send us a message. Barks picks the messages up, sends them through to us. You know what I mean? And then we can read the message and we can ask them questions, can't we? That's what we're here to do, isn't it, lads?
Yeah. I'm just stopping a cock coming out of his box, knocking my phone.
Yeah, but that's it. So this show is going to thrive off people getting involved with us. You know, hitting the like button, subscribing, asking us questions, and even messaging the site in the week, because the shows are always going to be recorded, so you'll always be able to watch them later in the week. And if you see something later in the week when you're watching it, you can always message the show. We'll always get the message, and then when we do the show on a Sunday, we can answer that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's a lot of big topics going on at the minute, you know, regarding, you know, in the pigeon fraternity, RPRA, and if anyone wants to discuss anything, we're not frightened of discussing anything. We'll say it as it is.
You know, we want the more people's opinions we can get, the better and the livelier the show will be. You know what I mean? That's what we're looking for. We're looking for plenty of input from other people and not just us, you know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Plenty of input. We'll always tell you what we're doing with our pigeons, where we're up to. And like I said, we'll be getting the guests on and, you know, talking about different topics. But we really need you to subscribe and hit that like button and start telling us what's going on with your pigeons, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So what we're hoping for pigeon racing to where do we need it to be to keep it going, to sustain it, do you think? What you tell us your ideas, Tom, on what you think would help pigeon racing in England.
I think it needs more publicity.
Yeah.
First of all, I think the pigeon fraternity needs to come together. I said it last week, and there's that many splinters in it. As in, if we can't fix it within the pigeon fraternity, we're going to struggle out of it. Everyone's got to start getting on the same page and going the same way. Because there's that many bits of like any hobby, anything. There's that much bickering and that sort of stuff. That all needs. We don't need all that. We need to all go forward. To make the sport progress. That's my opinion.
What do you think, Jay?
Something I said last week about like the smaller feds joining together, get more birds on the wagon, which will then bring the cost down a bit. One of our fed this year, should I say, it's lost a bit of money, but people lose the birds, they stop racing, the wagon ends up empty for the last 3 races. And then it's costing the Fed then because they've given us a race program. They in a way they've got to stick to it. But then when they're going down the motorway with 200 or 300 birds, it's not covering the costs. But if there was 2 other people and other Feds joining in, if the wagon could hold it at the start of the season, it might make it more profitable at the end of the season and make it cheaper for the fanciers.
Yeah.
So do you think it's feasible that, like, obviously we've got the national, but is it feasible that all the clubs, we could all be together in like one, like one big club, all come in one way, like the combines used to be?
I think another 10 years it will be, you'll have to. There'll be no choice. Because people are getting older, there's not as many young people coming into it, and there'll be lads who will be desperate to race, and they might be 10 miles away, but if there's only 3 of them, there's no point sending a wagon to race against 3 people. So you might as well join forces and join the bigger picture.
Yeah. So just while there's a lull in the talking, Ian Platt's come on and he said, trying to get feds and clubs together on one wagon is impossible. Too many want to be the big fish in a small pond. So if I'm right, what Ian said,
I think they'll get forced, or they'll pack up because it'll come a day where there's not enough members in areas to physically cover the cost of sending a wagon down the motorway from to race into their own little pocket of area. I think in another 10 years, I think it'll have to. There's going to be some a lot bigger radiuses that they're going to have to compete against.
I do think it'll be a gradual thing. I don't think like that your man just said. They won't all race together. So to make a start, you say, okay, you stay in these smaller feds, but you just share the transport. There's nothing like smaller feds and sharing the transport costs of images and having their own lib. And it's a start. You know what I mean? They're not going to go right and all race together straight away. It's not going to happen. Yeah. So they should start of all, they should just share the transportation and have their own libs. And then eventually it should evolve and hopefully that make things better.
Well, Ian's come back on then and he said Ian Platt, thanks for your comments, Ian, by the way. He's saying, look how many clubs are in the same area with only 3 to 4 to 5 members in. Yeah. So do you think what people are looking for is just a first or a second or a third? We're not bothering about how many pigeons are in the race.
Yeah, they're just looking for them first, aren't they?
So they're just looking for that first.
Yeah.
So they're not bothered
because
about
if
birdage.
it weren't for that first, a lot of clubs would. Yeah, I think if it weren't about the first, a lot of these clubs would have joined together already.
And I'm gonna say something here. Do you think there's a lot of people now selling pigeons or want to sell pigeons that have got to have them first?
Yeah.
So yeah, because a lot of people. I don't. It's a difficult one because people say there's paper pigeons and there's people who race them. Now, the way I look at it is, if I went to bought 6 pigeons off a good racing man next week, I would preferably like a pedigree with them. Because if one of them pigeons ends up a superstar in my loft, I want to know what it is so I can go and buy some more of the same bird. Now, if you buy a racing kit off someone because they're cheaper with no pedigrees and you get a superstar, the bloke who bred you doesn't have to tell you what it is. So then you've got one pigeon that's superstar and you can't create a family because that pigeon suits your system.
Yeah.
You know, if it's doing it for you, I'd like to go and buy the same birds.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. And me and you talk about this the other day, and I'm the total opposite. I don't care about no pedigrees. I don't care about where it come from, who its uncle, its granddad is. All I want to do is win. And I don't care where it comes from, how it's bred. But I see Jamie's side as in if he wanted to replicate it. I understand what he's saying, but I don't concentrate too much on the pedigrees. Over the last few years, I've tried to go on to, there is a stock lot full of paper pigeons, pedigrees. A lot of my ones are coming from Jamie, I'll be honest. And I've never asked him for pedigree because I'm not interested. All I is race pigeons, win with them, and then one time you become a very bit older, I put them in the stock loft and I want to represent winners, and that's the way I do it.
Yeah. What some other lads just come on here called Darren Lynch, and he said some clubs don't allow members in as they're successful in their old club, so they don't want them in a new club. So yeah, thanks Darren, thanks for your comment, mate. So do you think that, I mean, can you not stop that by they have to let you in?
I think there is a rule. There's a rule by the RPRA that, I think what Darren's talking about there, if you're already in a club and you put a letter in to join another club, this is how I understand it, they can reject you. If you're a new starter or you're not, or say you're coming back into the sport and you're not a member of any club, I'm pretty sure there's something in place that if you put in to join the club, I think you have to be within the radius and you've had no previous of, you could ever cause any trouble in the pigeon, not owed money. I think they have to let you in.
Well, that's what Darren was saying, that if you've done well in another club, they won't let you in a new club.
No.
And I think we know that goes on, don't we?
Yeah. I think the problem there is the fact that as a club, you want the right officials in the right jobs, because any right official, in my opinion, no club should be turning anyone away unless they've been debtors or they've caused trouble in the past. That's my opinion. So if your officials are right and your club's set up right, there should be something in place where you can't refuse anyone.
Yeah. So do you think that's what's stopping all the clubs coming together? Because some people might be great in one club and you don't want you in your club because they're going to win.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of all got to stop, hasn't it? I mean, I've noticed and I won't name names, but some of the really good flyers that we know, now you can only have first 4, you can only have 4 on the sheet or 2 on the sheet or whatever on the sheet, innit? So in my eyes, they're taxing your performance, aren't they?
Yeah, because go on, Tom.
I think they are in a way, but I do send quite a few pigeons myself, and I'm totally not against. I'll be honest, I'm not against the club level. I'm not against the club saying we're only going to put 4 on the sheet, we're only going to put 2 on the sheet, and I've done that for years, and I that doesn't bother me. I think that's fine. I understand that because I do know at club level you've got different levels of flyers, and we all know that. We all know there's some people fly for fun, some people are obsessed. Some people are professionals, and I think at club level, I agree with keeping the limited amounts that go on the sheet. But I do believe once you go above that to a bigger level, let's say that you go from your club into your federations, into your combines. I don't think they should do that, but I do agree with club level to keep the clubs tight.
Yeah, well, Ian Platts, again, thanks Ian for your comment. He's just come in with a suggestion and saying, couldn't we have a league table inside your club?
Yeah, well, we've got that in our fed. We've got A class and B. So any new starters in our fed are in the B group, and so they're still able to win prize money. And I think once they've won the club or they've been up there in the Fed, that they're looking like, you know, they get moved up then into the A group.
Yeah.
And
so once you've broke the novice status.
Yeah, that's it. And they get moved up into the A group. So it gives all the lads who are new starters, who only been playing a couple of years, chance to win some of the pots.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that'd be a good thing, having like a league table, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Is that kind of like the averages and points and stuff? Is that kind of a league?
I think it just goes off the points of where they've been and what they've won each week.
Yeah. I mean that you know, that's a good point, isn't it, to have like a league table?
Yeah.
You know, and then I suppose that would make more members send, wouldn't it? Because, you know, if you don't send, you can't.
Yeah, well, we said this last week. It was same at Clay Pigeon shooting. There was 3 groups, A, B, and C. And when I first started, I was in C class at the bottom. And when you won your C class, you moved up into the B class. And when you won that, you got into A class. But I never got out to C class. You know,
for the record, I was always in double A class.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not bad at that shooting, are you, Tom? You're pretty good at that, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you been shooting with him, Jamie?
Yeah, I always outshoot him. He said he's good, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, listen, it's not pigeon racing, this, lads. You don't have to start lying yet. But yeah, so I mean, there's a few good points, isn't there? You know, we've had a couple of people asking us the questions and we're answering them. But maybe, you know, like a league table would be a good thing in every club, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic idea. I do, honestly. I think, like Jamie stated there, in his Fed, and I think the way it should work, and it's quite easy when you think about it. You could work it like the football league. You know, you're racing a year in your league, and then the top 4 drop down. Sorry, the top 4 go up, and the bottom 4 of the league above drop down. And I think it'd make it a lot interesting. And you could put prizes for each league. You know, so you're only flying against your own ability.
Yeah.
It's a great idea, that.
Yeah. We'll have to try and see if some clubs will implement that. I mean, we could do with a few. We could do with some club secretaries getting involved, couldn't we, and explaining stuff, and you know why this kind of stuff's not being done, and that, couldn't we? I suppose.
When you live with a secretary, Bobby, you don't realise how much work they do behind the door.
Yeah. Well, it's like any. Listen, it's the same in boxing. It's like any seat of power. You know, any seat of authority. It's a thankless thing, innit? You know what I mean?
Yeah. The amount of work that they put in that people don't realise. Writing them prize cards every week. Imagine if they had every week they've got to be on top of them to have them out at the end of the season. You know, if they don't, they've got hundreds of cards, but they've backed up. They're going to back through all the results to sort them out. You know, it's a big job being a secretary.
I think any job with the people game's a big job. I mean, like the race I've done race controlling for a good few years, and to do the job proper, you know, you've seen me there, Bob. You've been for breakfast in the morning. You never stop.
Oh, mate. You never stop. You're on the phone all the time, aren't you?
You know, you just try to get everything right, and you want one bad live away from everyone calling you. You know, and you don't get paid.
That's the thing. That's the thing about being any seat of authority. Everybody else thinks they can do a better job than you.
Yeah.
But when they come to do it, they don't want the job.
No.
I mean, years ago in Ashton, the secretary down there was brilliant. You know what I mean? I remember that. If anyone used to moan, he used to say, "There you go," and give you the books.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, you know what I mean? There's the books. If you don't like it, off you go. And he was a great secretary. He was a fantastic secretary. His name was Annie Kenyon. You know what I mean? He was a great secretary. And you see, that's the problem. That people think they can do a better job and then they can't.
No.
Or they don't want to. You know, like you say, when it's going good, it's great. Everything's fantastic. But then when it's going bad, everybody jumps on your back, don't they? Do you know what I mean?
Saying they take over, and the problem is they don't realise, the same as anything in life, you don't realise how good it was till they've gone. You know what I mean? They diss people to the secretaries, the race controllers leave, and then 2 years later, you know, they're making an even worse job, you know, and they don't realise what they had.
Yeah. That's the problem, I suppose, isn't it? When something's going okay and then someone wants to take over and they take over and they ruin it, don't they? Do you know what I mean? That's the only problem with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why you need the right people in the right jobs.
Yeah. Right then, lads. Listen, I think that's been a great show, lads. By the way, it's been a lot better than last week, and we're starting again, aren't we? Like I say, I'm just really sorry again about not having a guest this week, but I promise you, what we'll have to start doing is getting 2 guests, and we'll have to have one in reserve in case something happens to the other. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Is there anything else that you'd like to say, lads, before we close the show? Or you okay?
No,
as long as you're happy, Bobby, that'll do.
Yeah. Is there anything coming up, lads, that we can tell people about? Is there any shows coming up? Do you know, Jay?
Yeah, there's shows every Sunday now for the next 3 Sundays at Bolton Clubhouse. I put a poster on a few Facebook groups advertising it. Just bring a few birds down. It's a good meet-up, bit of free food, bit of a raffle, and you get to meet everyone gets to see someone for a chat for the winter.
So what we'll do is if you send Barker that
poster.
That poster with the shows on Barker, he'll put it on the show. He'll put it on our website, and then people can see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And do you know anything that's coming up, Tom?
No, not at the moment, mate. No, like I say, obviously you got your big show, Blackpool, coming up in a couple of months. You know, that's the biggest. Well, I think the biggest in Europe.
Yeah. Well,
you know?
I think we'll be able to talk about Blackpool a bit closer to the show, aren't we? Because you know that show at Blackpool. Do you think Doncaster's taking anything away from it?
I think it's preference, really, to be honest. I mean, Blackpool's a lot bigger social gathering than Doncaster, because Doncaster's only one day. You know, so you go in, you do what you do, and you go to the show, and basically you go home. Whereas Blackpool's over the full weekend, so I think the social side's a lot bigger at Blackpool. You know, I don't think they're the same. I don't think you can compare them. One's more of a massive social event, and one's just you go in, get what you need, see your things, and you're home in the same day. Like we went, Bob. We went round in 2 hours, didn't we? We was home.
Yeah, we was done, weren't we?
Yeah.
I mean that you just go in and you get all the stuff, but you know, like at Blackpool, you've got all the shows on at night in the ballroom and all that. You've got all the sales on, haven't you? You know what I mean? So I suppose what you're saying, Blackpool will always be the biggest show, won't it?
Yeah.
The only good thing about Doncaster is that you can find hot stalls easy. They're all under the same roof. They're all in the same room. You know, there's a few times I've been to Blackpool, I'm like, bloody hell, they weren't there. And then you get home and think, oh, they was there, but they was in a room round the corner. You know what I mean? I think in Blackpool, if they're in one room, I think they should put them all in that bottom room, all in one big group. And then we know where they all are.
Yeah. Right then, boys. Right. Well, listen, thank you very much for tonight. And
no worries.
Everybody who's listening or everybody who watches the repeat shows, please hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. And please try and get involved. Send us some messages. And thank you to the lads who got involved tonight. It's very much appreciated. And hopefully we'll see you all next week. So thanks a lot, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Loft to loft with Bobby's inside the Loft Line. Oh, it feels so